So as we know that Python is an interpreter. So just like your shell script, if you want to if you have written any Python code or if you have written any Python instructions, so to execute them, we need to have a compiler. So we need to have an interpreter instead of compiler. So first we need to understand what is the difference between an interpreter and compiler. An interpreter is a software module which executes one instruction at a time. That means it is the usual practice that we write one instruction in one line. So that means it will execute one instruction per line. But in the case of compiler, it will scan the complete code at once and it will execute. Okay. So now you have various versions of Python. So for our convenience, so let us go with the recent version of the Python release. So first we need to go to the python.org. That's the official website of Python. So there is something called as Python Software Foundation. So as part of Python Software Foundation, across the globe there are thousands of developers who are contributing to this open source software. So first I'll share my screen. Can you see my screen? Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So to install Python, we need to go to python.org. That is the official website of Python. So in that you have to go to downloads. You can see here there are various menus available. So you can read here about Python and what are the downloads available and what is the official documentation available for Python and community. Okay, you can have an overview about the Python community. So you can get more information about how to get the actual source code of the Python so that you can tweak it and you can come up with your own version of Python and the success stories and other news and so on. Okay, for that first let us go to downloads. So as soon as we go to the downloads, you can see in the right side here download for Windows. That means there is a recent version, that is Python 8.5, which is freely available for Windows machine. Okay, let us select Python 3.8.5. So now you can see in the bottom of this browser, in the left bottom, you can see it is downloading. That is nothing but the Python launcher, launch file. Actually, I have already downloaded Python launch file. Just to demonstrate for you, once again I am redoing the same thing. Okay, so let us wait until this will download. So meanwhile, so we need to understand before execution what are the conversions that happens with respect to the Python program. So whatever the code that we write, we call it as a source code. So as soon as we write the source code, so we'll try to execute it. So the moment we execute it by using the Python interpreter, meanwhile it will convert the Python source code into an intermediate format. We call it as Python bytecode. So where we heard about the bytecode, I think while studying with the Java, we heard about bytecode. Okay, bytecode is one which is an machine understandable code format. Okay, just look at here. So I'll show you how the Python bytecode will look like. You can see here there is a function. See here f. So def is the keyword which is used to define functions. So function with two parameters n and accum. So there is a source code for this function, and you can look at here the bytecode generated for this function. Okay, so it is the mnemonic instructions. It is nothing but the mnemonic instructions. This is how a Python bytecode will look like. Any doubt in this? You got the idea how the bytecode will look like? And I told then the code which is understandable by the machine. So that's a bytecode. Just like how you have Java virtual machine. Similarly, here also you have in Python virtual machine. This virtual machine will try to understand so what is that code and accordingly it will take corrective action. And also, as I told in the previous class, it supports cross platform development and portability. So what is that cross platform? Say for example, let us assume you have a Apple laptop and a Macintosh operating system. So where you install Python and you will write one program and you will run it successfully. So for that, you carry that source code or you carry that file and you try to execute it in Windows machine. Successfully, it will execute. Okay, so that is nothing but the portability. So the internet is very slow. It is taking more time to install install the Python launcher. Okay, we have to wait. It's about almost 25 and a half MB file. Okay, I'll go to downloads. Anyhow, I have this file. Let us install it from there itself. Okay, it's still loading. Okay, you can see here. Here I have a Python 3.8.5. This is the launcher file. So I launch. It will ask you here install now or customize installation. See, it is always better to go for customization so that you will come to know what all the software components are there. So here, don't forget to select this checkbox, add Python 3.8 to the path. So if you do not select this, so then explicitly after installing the Python explicitly, you may have to set the path. You have to go to the environment variables and you have to set the path. So to overcome that, here itself, it is better to select the checkbox and click on customize installation. Okay, so that at least if you go for customization, you will come to know what are all the optional features that are there. So you can see optional, it is okay, it is optional whether to download the documentation part or not. So it is always necessary, so we'll download it. And this is there another software module, that is pip. So it installs all the required packages. Okay, on demand you can install the required packages. Okay, for example, after some time you may start working with an IoT project, you may need some packages, software packages which are not yet installed. If that is the case, you can go to the pip and can install the packages. And TCL or the idle, this is the actually uh, interpreter which you are going to use. This is an editor actually. Idle is an editor which you are going to use now to write the programs and to execute. Then Python test suite. Okay, it installs the standard library test suite. Okay, click on next. Okay, and here don't forget to select install for all users. Suppose if you want to make your system as multi-user system, then you need to select this checkbox, install for all users. Okay, so on other things you can keep it as it is, and if you wish to change the default location of Python installation, that also you can do. Browse. Okay, I want to install it in E drive. Okay, I'll select E drive. Okay, now the path is E drive. That's it. So that is where Python will be installed. Okay, now select install. Okay, so do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Yes. So it's starting. Okay, it is installing fast. So see, you can observe here it is showing 32-bit. Don't worry about that. Okay, it is showing that test suite is 32-bit, but still it supports for 64-bit, one Windows 10 as well. See, in case if you are using Windows 7, then you have to install Service Pack 1. Otherwise, it will give you the error. So always it is better to go with the Windows 10. Windows 10 or Windows 8. Okay, another 1 minute it will install. So this is one thing. So there are so many other alternatives as well. Okay, you might have heard about Anaconda. Okay, to install Anaconda, that is also an IDE kind of thing to work with Python, and it is also an industry standard tool. So you need to have 4 GB of space. So it takes a lot of time for installation. And for our purpose, this the basic version of Python for Windows that is good enough for us. Anything you want to ask? And there is one more tool called as PyCharm, PyCharm, PyCharm. So that also I'll show you at some point of time. So how to use PyCharm. That is also one more industry standard tool, PyCharm. It's an IDE integrated development environment to work with Python. Almost completed. Yes, you can see here setup was successful. Okay, now see if you wish you can see the online tutorial and the documentation. So if you have enough time you can go through it. Now I'll close it. Okay, now we'll start using Python. Okay, now I'll go to the case start. You can see here recently added. You can see here Python idle. So Python idle, that is the editor. You can select Python idle. So this is a prompt. So you can work with Python in two ways. One is by using the editor, and another one is just by using the prompt. So that is the command prompt. So this is the command prompt. So you can use. So first we will print hello world. Okay. So print hello. Okay. So now just like this is also an interpreter, just like a shell. Python is also an interpreter. So we can use it like this. Okay. First I'll show you. So what are all the things that we can do with? What are the some of the things that we can do with command prompt? Say first I'll show you how to initialize variables and how to do calculations. Okay, say for example you want to take two variables, x is equal to 10, enter, y is equal to 20, enter, and you want to compute the sum, that is equal to x plus y. Okay, now it has computed. So it has initialized x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 20 and z is equal to x plus y. So we call Python as strongly typed language. Why? Because see here, I did not say that x is an integer and y is an integer and also z is also an integer. The moment I initialize its value, it understood that x is a variable of type integer. So now it has computed the sum. Just we need to display it like this. That is print of z. Okay. So this is one thing. Another thing, say in case suppose if you want to initialize more than one variable at a time in the same statement, that also you can do. X comma y is equal to 20 comma 30. So if you initialize like this, so in the left side x is the first variable, okay, and in the right side 20 is the first variable. So therefore x will be initialized to 20 and y will be initialized to 30. Okay, now that is equal to 5 int of that. Okay, now you are getting the value. Okay, like this, you can deal with a command prompt, especially to initialize the variables. Okay, next thing is how to deal with expressions. Just like how we write the expressions, similarly, you can also write here expressions. Say, for example, so I want to compute 2.33 into 5.6. Okay, just like it's a normal calculator kind of thing, you can use. Okay, and you can write any complex expression. Okay, say for example 33 plus 5 divided by 4 into 44 into 3. Okay, let us assume this is an expression. So it will be evaluated. So it will also apply all the rules. That is, we know that what is the rules to evaluate the expression? BODMAS, that is bracket of order, then division, multiplication, addition and subtraction, and the associativity is from left to right. So by following this BODMAS rules, it will try to execute all the expressions. Okay, any doubt in this, students?
No, sir.
Now,
No, sir.
so are you confident about installing the Python in your system? Hello?
We installed, sir, now.
हाँ सर.
Oh, okay. Now you're also installing parallelly.
Yes,
It's
sir, we
fine.
installed parallelly.
Okay, fine then. Okay. So this is one way of dealing with command prompt. Okay, and say in shell script, what we used to do whenever we used to do any operations, if the commands are very simple, we'll go to command prompt and directly we'll execute. Okay, but what to do when we have a series of commands to be executed at once? So then we create a shell script. Here also the same thing. When you have so many instructions to execute, here also we create the shell script. Okay, so and along with that, today we'll see how to deal with if condition and a simple if condition and a for loop.
Sir.
Hello?
Sir. Maximize that.
Yes.
Maximize that bit now, sir.
Window. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, I'll show you. Today, just now I had created one file. Okay. See, look at here. So this program is a simple demonstration of how the for loop will work in Python. So I have taken I is equal to 10 and j is equal to 20. So two temporary variables, I have initialized them and I am applying the for loop for that. For I in range. See here range is the function. Okay. See whenever we deal with for loop, we have three parts in that for loop. The first part is called initialization and the second part is increment or decrement and the second part is a condition and the third part is initialize increment decrement. So we have initialization, condition and increment decrement. Okay, but here the syntax of for loop is very simple and it's quite different as well. So here for I is the iteration variable, in is the keyword, okay, range is the function. So print the variables ranging from 10 comma 21. Okay, that means so we need to print the variable values starting with 10 to 20. Okay, now select here run. Okay, you just observe here. So here there is a run. This is the IDE. That is the editor. Here itself we can run. You can see here it has printed the variable values from 10 to 21. Now look at here. What happens if I remove here? If I remove j plus 1 here? Okay, if I remove j, what happens? Instead of printing the values from 10 to 20, it will end up with 19. So control S, save. So Fi is for run. Okay, now you can see. So you can see here the input. So it has printed the values from 10 to 19. Okay. See now, this loop is equivalent to for I is equal to 0, I is less than j and j plus plus. Okay. Now I'll take one more example. Okay, now look at this example. So p2.py. So I have taken two variables a and b. So a is equal to 10 and b is equal to minus 5. And here this is a simple demonstration of else if condition. Okay, how to use if condition within Python programming. So here, if a is less than b, print a is less, else print b is less. Okay, now just observe the syntax here. After writing if a is less than b, have written colon. The colon indicates the beginning of if condition. Okay, then immediately you can see upon hitting the enter key, automatically it will indent the position of print like this. Okay, suppose if you start print statement in the same column where you are starting if condition, then you will get the error. That means it's a structured programming language. You need to understand Python is a structured programming language. Indentation is very much important. And similarly, you need to start else from where you have started if condition. Then don't forget to put colon. Control S, run. You can see the output here in the bottom. B is less. Okay. So say for example, you don't want else part, you want only the true part. That means you don't want the false part, you want only the true part. Okay. If that is the thing, you can stop it here itself. If a is less than b, okay. So now what I'll take here. If b is less than a, then print b is less. Okay. Then press F5 to run. Okay, it is showing b is less. Now we'll see what happens if I try to put the condition like this. If a is less than b, what is going to happen? Let us see. So what it printed? It printed nothing. If a is less than b, the condition is false. Okay, it prints nothing. Okay, you can see here it prints nothing. Okay, so like this we need to use if condition and for loop. Anything you want to ask? Okay, now Okay, just assume. Okay, so let us. Okay, let us assume you want to um, uh, do the summation from the values ranging from I to j. Okay, so I is equal to 10, j is equal to 20. Okay, then let us initialize one variable s is equal to 0. Then put the for loop for I in range of, specify the starting range is I and the ending range is j. Now my problem statement is I want to add the sum of all the numbers from 10 to 20. Okay, now look at here immediately after hitting the enter button where it is starting. So indentation is starting from here. Okay, now s is equal to s plus what is the iteration variable I. Okay, so that now in the first iteration the value of s is 0. Okay, s is equal to 0 plus 10. In the second iteration I value is 11. Okay, s is equal to s plus 11, that is 10 plus 11. So like that cumulatively in iteration manner it will do the summation of all the numbers ranging from 10 to 20. Now how to indicate the end of for loop? Okay, now okay, go to the first column of the line. Okay, that indicates the end of for loop. Print. Now what to print? Print the value of s. That is showing syntax error. Okay, let us put this logic within the file. New file is
Sir,
equal to
sir, that print should be in line, sir.
yes, the column position. See here there is a prompt, so the column number is different, and here the print column number is different. So hence it is giving the error. So to overcome that, so when we have such things to be computed, so it is ideally to suited to go with the file creation. So I is equal to 10, j is equal to 20, and initialize s is equal to 0. Now for I in range. Okay, you got the point. Okay, so that's what the importance of column numbers. So I comma j. Okay, now we should not forget to put the colon here. Then see, look at the indentation. Automatically it is taking because this is the editor. S is equal to s plus I. So now we want to mark the end of the for loop. Okay, look at here. It is coming to here itself. Now one backspace. Okay, now here if you put print of yes, now obviously it will print the value. So now before this, you want to save the file. Okay, go to save as. I want to save my file in E folder, that is E drive p3 dot. Okay, p3 is good enough because the file type is Python files. Automatically it will add. Now select run module. You can see the output here 145. So that means if you cumulatively keep adding the numbers ranging from 10 to 20, you will get the answer 145. 45. See the next class, I'll show you how to use. So LC ladder, then while loop, we'll see in the next class. And today for quiz portion, so I have one task for you. So what is the task is, you need to install Python in your system, and you need to uh, create one file. In that, you need to display one hello message, which also includes your name and USN. Okay, getting my question? You need to
Yes, sir.
create, install Python, then create a file, save it with .py extension, and the output of the file should display your name and USN. Okay, if you send that screenshot to my email, that will be considered as today's quiz. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So to log out from this prompt, you can always use exit or log out. You can check. Okay, then exit. Yes. Okay, do you want to kill it? Okay. Yes, it is closing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.